Welcome back to another episode of Templar's Talks. This is number 35, I think. And
Yes, 35.
if you hear a little bit of crackled voices, that is because we literally just got back from a festival south of Haven. And, well, it was quite something, I could say. It was the first edition of this festival. Already hyped last year. We were interested in it, but it was maybe a bit too soon, so they couldn't realize it. This year they could, and so we were there.
Yes.
Both of us! In some form or shape. Yeah. 3 days. The first day was an openings night, which was Elvira's day. The other 2 days were festival days where I was present. And yeah, let's see what we have to discuss about this lineup. But yeah, I think we can start about our first experience at this festival by saying that I really liked the layout of the festival. It was.
Me too.
It was kind of cozy. I mean, I know that they kind of hoped for a bit more people to show up, but for a first edition, people always need to kind of hear about it from others, how cool it was. So maybe now you hear after this podcast how great it was, you think, maybe I should get an early ticket for next year?
Maybe.
Or maybe not, but... in any case, I was enthusiastic about it. It was one stage. Originally, they planned for a second stage, but due to not enough people buying the tickets in advance, they had to cut the costs, and therefore they had to do it in a bit different way, which meant that they started early on the days, and they went on to late in a venue nearby, which brought me to this nostalgic after-party feeling like we had in Tuska through the years. So in the end, I was thinking about it this morning, like, actually, that's kind of brilliant. This after-party shows. I liked it. Okay, maybe we'll get to it later, how I experienced them in depth, but... even if they manage to get a second stage next time, I would say just keep a couple of after-party shows, because that's kind of nice.
Keep something in the
venue,
in the venue building. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I agree too.
All right. The bands of the first day, I leave up to you because it was your day. So.
Yes, but I took you there as well because,
we can.
Starting the festival season is fun, but it's fun with more people around.
Yep.
So I like to say too that it was the first time of the festival. It was the first day. I think I even almost got the first beer. At the bar.
I think there were 2 people in front of us, maybe, but that's about it.
So, if there's going to be a raging success, I can say I was one of the first persons who ever got a beer on this festival. Yeah.
A small one, though.
Yes. It was a small one.
Expensive, small beer.
Okay. Yeah. But the bigger one was even more expensive.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, there were... it was actually... I don't know if it was always a plan for the Friday to be there as a sort of start of the festival, because I think the festival first was announced as just the Saturday and the Sunday, and then I think a little bit later this Friday came into existence.
I heard about from the promoter actually that this was actually planned as a separate event, and later on they merged it. He told me about that. I think it's actually quite nice because now they had a good big stage to offer to Heilung as a headliner.
Yeah.
And
But I think Heilung deserved that. So I think it was Heilung who was going to have one of the latest shows in the Netherlands before they will be taking a break, I believe, from touring later this year. And I think this was going to be the last one of the Dutch show. And I think they wanted something, and the Friday came up, and then they thought, well, let's build something more around it, and I loved it. So we started the day around Dutch dinner time at 6 o'clock. I think the festival had a little bit of bad luck on the Friday, because there was a train
strike. Yeah.
Strike, yes. I was looking for the English word. There was a train strike in the Netherlands, like complete train strike, not just a little bit,
but
the
entire country had no trains.
So it was like almost 2-hour drive for me, but I drove it in 5 hours.
Yeah.
But I was actually during the second band, I think it started to fill up quite nicely, and I think already the first band was, the first band has never been that crowded, but I was a little amazed how many people were there. So I think it's a good start for the festival. They had a little bit trouble with that on the first day, but I think,
that was very unfortunate, I think, because a lot of people would have been buying day tickets perhaps if this wasn't there, and I don't know, I kind of
the turn up was great, but I think due to the strike it could have been even better. I think
I even heard somebody say that the most tickets they sold was for the opening night. I don't think it was that much different with the other day, or to be honest, but that's what I heard somebody say. I'm not completely sure what the exact numbers were. The promoter said that he didn't have the full numbers at that point, and he would get them later.
Of course.
So that's that.
Yeah. So this Friday, it's what can you say about it? I think it's a little bit with the Who. So Wulo and Heilung is a little bit more of a folk pagan influenced tribey kind of day, I think.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I think the bands really fitted well together. So we started with Alcest. Alcest was a French band. I had never seen them before.
Really?
So it was my first time. I was looking forward to this. Yes, there are still a lot of bands that I have never seen.
Yeah.
Even though I've seen so many bands. I actually loved it. I do think that they will be better in a venue, in a dark surrounding.
Absolutely.
They kind of have this doomy vibe. Or in a tent, of course, where it's darker.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
For me,
I think
I would have expected Alcest to play at a later time, like maybe the Who and Alcest changed. And to me personally, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alcest headlining, considering also that they sell out major venues in the Netherlands.
Well, I think I would have seen them rather in the venue inside. I think their style is way more fitting for inside.
True. Yeah, but if they played later, it would have been already a bit darker and cozier atmosphere in that sense.
Yeah.
Because everybody huddles up a little bit closer to the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I mean, they're incredible live.
That's for sure. I mean, I've seen them. I think when they were pretty small, still. I think in a club stage of Tuska for maybe first time. No, was that the second time? I think. Can't remember anyway. But I've seen them growing through the years, and I really liked it. The way that they are still staying strong to their own feel as a band. Sometimes if you have a band that appears a bit timid on the stage, which they definitely are, you see them grow and become more of an extrovert through the years. But for them, it's this is who they are, and they are comfortable with that, and that's how they are, how they stay. Of course, you see a bit of growth in that, but I think their own personality from Alcest is still very much there. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's one of those bands that don't need moving stage presence. It fits the music, you know. I loved it. So, and I think you did too.
Yeah,
so
I basically agreed to join because Alcest was there.
yeah. You only wanted to see that band. I know. So then we had The Who, and they're like, I'm not sure if they do this throat singing.
Yeah. And I think I've seen them before as well. In Tuska, maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. But then mixed with...
Yeah, they are from Mongolia.
So they do this... Yeah.
I remember us talking about that. I just shout. I let you talk now. I keep shouting stuff.
So yes, they do this throat singing and they mix it with a little bit more metal. I've seen in the old Be Below, I've seen like one of those bands that did the throat singing, but then it was like we're way more traditional and way more. They were sitting down and they were really. I think they were at 5 of them. So I had a little bit more of that in my mind, but it was fun to watch. I've listened to I'd never seen them. I listened to a couple of their songs before. I think they got the crowd going as well. I think they had a nice, energetic build-up. Although I have to say, somewhere in the middle of their performance, I kind of felt I heard the songs before.
Yeah, can imagine that.
But still, I quite liked it.
Yeah, I think I never really like it because after a while, for me, it gets too boring. Even though you see all these crazy instruments that they bring, I still feel like, gosh, guys, I don't know. For me, it just never feels that click with their music so much.
Yeah, maybe that's what I mean to say with somewhere in the half of it, they kind of start to sound the same, or they lose my interest, or I don't know, but something happens. And maybe because of the different instruments and the way they use it in the music is kind of what makes it sound a little bit more of the same, in a way, I think, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway.
I think I don't really understand so much where the popularity of this band comes from. Because to be honest, I rarely see somebody walking around with their merch, for example.
But are they popular? Because I don't think they ever played in the Netherlands.
I think they did with some Japanese band or so, if I remember that correctly. But they sure have been playing here before. But I don't know. Don't tell me the dates because I'm not interested, so I haven't been there. Yeah. In any case, I think the audience was kind of liking it, but they were also not too crazy for going for them.
No,
they were all very...
I think definitely most people came to see Heilung, so it was a good warm-up, I think.
I think Alcest also had a couple of dedicated fans. I saw quite a bunch of people with their merch also.
Yeah, with the merch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always a good way of
telling.
Some people singing along. It's always a good way of telling
I also saw some people singing along, like every word for every song. I kind of always like that when I see someone like that in the audience. Like,
yeah, I didn't sing along that much, but I certainly enjoyed Alcest most. Yeah.
So then there was like because there was only one stage, there was like an hour changeover.
Yeah, but they need it with all their ritual stuff.
Yes, but I liked it because we had a little bit of time to catch up.
Yeah. True.
And then it was time for Heilung, and yeah, it's something. I really believe that not everybody will like this band. It's kind of special. I think if you know the music, you might be a little bit more understanding of what's going to happen, and I think you have to. They do their performance is sort of a ceremony, and I think you have to get drawn into it in the beginning so you get the whole experience and not just getting a little piece.
Yeah, for me, I've never really been into this kind of stuff, and then they come very much into my irritation zone, so I avoid them like the plague usually.
And then I brought you there.
Yeah. But 2 reasons for me to be there. That's being with you and being with Alcest.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I very much enjoyed Heilung. I think if you were not there, I would have probably get lost in the crowd and, let the whole music came over me and just, I don't know, fade in the music or something, or fade in the audience and become one, as they say.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think they do something that not many other bands do. It's really a ritual. They start with thanking the gods and thanking the earth and everything. And you get to be a part of it. So yeah.
I did see more and more bands copying this though. Their whole existence.
Yeah, definitely.
Also the clothes and what they do, it's getting copied a lot at the moment.
Yes. But they've been doing it quite a while.
Yeah.
And I like it that they became quite big and quite...
Yes?
They're their own kind of...
How many people are in that band anyway?
Sorry? Well, it's not everyone on the stage is the band.
No, true. I know a couple of label people that joined their ritual sometime. Random people being around get thrown on the stage for that ritual, literally.
Yeah.
I think if they don't feel like they have enough, they probably grab people from the backstage that have to show up or something.
Hey, you!
You, come to our ritual. Stand on the stage in a circle. Do something. Just repeat it.
And get wild.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah. They definitely attracted a lot of people there.
Yeah.
It was crowded. I think the atmosphere was really, really good at the field. It was dry. It was not raining. So maybe someone did also a little bit of a sun dance. So yeah, I love that. And then everything outside ended with the performance of Heilung. We went to the venue.
Yeah.
Soulfly was playing there. And that's...
They were on your
Dutch
wish list.
Yes, they were on my wish list because I like them too. You said something about being a copycat of Heilung. I don't. In a way,
because they have
they're kind of really different.
Yeah, just because they have these instruments there, or what? Because
I think that's the only thing you and the female vocalist. I listened to Soulfly, I think from the start, perhaps. and I liked the music. I think their female vocalist now, I heard a couple of from newer songs where she's trying, I think, to do a little bit more with her vocal range than in the beginning. But she came in later, I believe, and then, you know, you have to find your own dynamics in a band as well. But I actually like that. They are very powerful as well. Like Heilung is like the whole ritual, but Sawulo is more, I don't know. They're the male vocalist and a female vocalist, and they're musicians around them, but they're performing like standing still, but they're you know, they're caught up in their own music, and it's really drawing you in.
Yeah,
I think, and I think it's quite powerful. And the light show was good as well. I love it.
Yeah, I watched.
Shout out.
I watched the first couple of songs, just to see a bit of what they were about. Then I realized, oh no, this is really not my kind of stuff.
I know.
But I still wanted to see a little bit of it, and then I decided. I mean, I had a long weekend ahead after that.
Yes.
So I decided to call it short. You stayed around for one more band after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided to bail.
Yeah, so, people who came to see Sawulo, they got a really nice show, I think. It was really good. I think they just finished their sort of tour in the Netherlands.
They have an album out, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they have some recent show? I can't remember.
So then there was Nini Metal. It's I'm trying to find where she comes from, but Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know.
How many people were still?
I'm not sure.
There.
I was still there. I saw it. It wasn't bad. But it's not my thing. I don't get the whole baby metal kind of thing either. I think it's a lot about her playing a traditional instrument. I think she plays it, I think, quite well, but you don't really hear the instrument. It gets lost in the whole music and the metal vibe. And then sometimes you hear a little bit of plucking on her instrument, but it's more about the gimmick.
Mm.
She is like dressed up in, I would say, Japanese costume, but she's from Taiwan, so it's not Japanese.
Oh.
But sorry, there, I'm not. So like in like a little bit of like kimono style outfit with those flowers, embroidery on it, and hair in a high ponytail braid, and then she's flipping around, and it reminds me of baby metal. I don't like that. I don't know. It's not my thing. And she had musicians around her, like another guitarist and a more a vocalist who did a little bit more like metalcore-ish vibe to it. And then she, at some point, she did a little bit of the traditional, more like singing, and she also tried to sing, which I say try because that wasn't really hitting it. So I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't see the whole. I don't know.
How did people stay around for it though? Because I think a lot of people said that there were.
Most people went.
Yeah.
That's
what I heard.
It was absolutely packed with Sawulo.
Yeah, true.
It was really hard to get around.
Yeah, and when I left after a couple songs in the bar area, right, leading up to the venue. There were like people queuing to get in still.
Yeah, it was really packed. But with Nini, like, I don't know. There were people, but I don't know.
Okay.
Not much.
No, interesting.
150 maybe, something like that. 200 maybe.
Huh.
Not much. But it's, I don't know. It's not my thing.
Oh well. You've seen it now.
And I don't know the music. I don't know it really well, so I can't really say anything about it. Her skills of playing get lost in everything, in the gimmick and in the metalcore vocalist-ish guy that's there. That maybe needs to make it more metal, because, I don't know.
It was interesting, but not our thing, I guess.
No, not my thing. So that was the Friday. I really love this Friday. And I'm a little sad that I couldn't make it on the Saturday and the Sunday at the festival. But at least I got a little bit of... how do you say that?
I don't know. Sleep in?
Atmosphere, a few experience of the festival.
Mm-hmm.
By going on the Friday.
Yeah.
But I think the vibe was a little bit different at the festival.
Yeah.
But you're there. You've been there.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I've, like, my timeline has been completely full by every performance.
Yeah.
So,
and then I stalked you also a little bit.
yes.
Info during the weekend. So. Okay, to be honest, you asked for it, so.
Yes.
Yeah, first band that I've seen on the Saturday was playing like at 11 o'clock in the morning, 11:15, and the festival opened at 11. Yeah, you know what that means, right? That means that not a lot of people are gonna be able to be inside on the festival to see the first band. I already on forehand saw people complaining about this, like, hey, I specifically come for this band, but it's not gonna be happening. So everybody's gonna be in on time to see this band, you know. Only 15 minutes where they need to give you wristbands, check your bags, check. I don't know what else they did at the entry.
That's not possible.
No. So yeah, first band, Danish. They're called.
Yeah.
I would say Best, but a lot of people pronounce it as Beast.
Yeah, or maybe based as they're Danish.
Yeah. I don't know. If I say it in English, it would be Best, I think, because the A and the E. Yeah.
It's not Beast, because otherwise it would be...
EA, yeah. I know.
The other way around. Based or Best or Beast, yeah, whatever. Danish band. I saw them last year, or the year before already, at the Roosendaal Open Air.
Yeah, I've seen them.
They were awesome. I think it's a shame they played as first band, but someone had to.
They were angry about that, though. They were angry at the festival organization, and they were like saying, "Who the hell comes up with their stupid mind to have a band play 50 minutes after the doors open?" They even said it out loud, and I was like, "Whoa, they're really pissed about this." But they were happy for the people that came, and it was a little bit raining, so they were like saying, we like that you actually come here, and now sorry couldn't bring any better weather, and that kind of stuff. But they were putting a lot of energy and hatred into their set list, so to say.
But I get it, because these bands... Also, the next band, Angeles Apatrida, and they're not. I think they've earned their spots in the Netherlands, both bands, and they only play 30 minutes. And I also know a lot of people that came to see those bands, So 30 minutes, it's short. Also for the bands, to fly in and play 30 minutes and fly back.
Yeah, to be honest, for Best, I can imagine that they wouldn't be up higher on the bill yet at this point. Opening, I wouldn't expect it, but let's keep in mind that the original plan was for the band to
two stages. Yeah.
And seeing the bands that were playing late in the after party and they were shoveled around to make it happen, I would have expected them to be higher on the list for the second stage originally.
Yeah, because I think
I think
the
was
first
the
band.
plan.
Yeah, the first band to play in the venue, Inherited.
Yeah.
I might get it because they're Dutch and they're upcoming, but I don't think.
Well, it's something I would talk about later, but I mean, I wasn't able to see them because logistic reasons. We'll talk about. I'll mention that later. But from one person who was there, I heard there were only 30 people for seeing them. So
30.
Yeah. No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because they're actually they are quite good.
I know, I like them.
But they're upcoming.
If you play at 1:30, people still have another day to come. Some people want to go home.
Yeah. And the thing is, you have to switch from the festival, which just took you 45 minutes to get in. And then you have to get out to go to the venue, go back to catch the other band.
But
I can understand why people just went to the field and just stayed there,
True, but I mean, for that.
So I hope next year there's 2 stages and this little thing. It will be perfect if there's 2 stages and then 1 or 2 bands in the venue as an after party.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And this kind of band shouldn't be playing at that level because obviously nobody's gonna be there. But yeah, back to best. So they made the best out of the situation, to stay in the terms. And I kind of like their energy. I've seen them before. Always do their best to make it happen, and so they did today. So yeah, confirming. They were nice to see. Yeah, then your favorites, Angelos.
Not my favorite.
They're on somewhat.
But I like them.
Yeah, exactly. And they did a good show. I like them as well. I can't remember if I've seen them before. If I did, I didn't remember them, so to say. But yeah, what I liked a lot about this band is that the vocalist has a very dynamic range in his voice. Like a lot of bands playing this kind of music have a very one style that they use throughout everything, and they just rage on with it. But yeah, what was his name? Guillermo or something, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah. But you saw them at Into the Grave.
Yeah, probably did. But
yeah.
In any case, that's what I like about him. He makes it very dynamic, which makes every song interesting to watch. He played they played half an hour also, but I've watched the whole set because I really liked it. Even though it was raining at some point, I just stayed out with my raincoat on.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, I could have been running to shelter. That was possible, but I didn't. I watched.
Cool.
Because I really liked what they did with the vocalist. And also, even though he is really having some sort of spotlight because of what he's doing, the rest of the band stays very much in balance. It's not like the rest of the band fades into the background. Everyone has their place. No. And that's really nice to watch. I think that's one of the best skills a band should have, to balance everything out correctly. So everyone can bring in their piece at the right time and has his moments, but all staying with each other, not one ego shining more than the rest.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
They all bring something to the table. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh my God, Legion of the Damned. I mean, we've seen this band shitloads of time. They're Dutch, so obviously I liked usually what they do. It's fine. I mean, I'm not a big fan, but
been around.
It's cool. Yeah, So we were waiting in the photo pit, and we were waiting and waiting, and the drum was still drumming, doing the sound check. And it took like 5 minutes, it took 10 minutes, it took, I don't know, 15 minutes at some point. And then they were like, yeah, okay, we'll move on to the rest of the band. So doing a quick sound check. They were like starting 25 minutes late. Okay, it sucks if your sound is not correct, but hello, there's more people needing to be on that one single stage today.
Yeah.
At some point you just have to do something and start. Well, they kind of did, because also in the first songs you could definitely hear some issues. But then again, they didn't seem to be caring enough to cut short any of their set or something, because when they ended, it was still 25 minutes after their supposed ending time. I'm like, wow, why didn't somebody just pull the plug on them at that point? Like, yeah. And the reason why that pisses me off is because one of the bands I was kind of looking forward to, Midnight had to cut their sets short. And
yeah, that's really a shame.
Yeah. And I think they were... I give them very big kudos, because they explained to their audience, like, okay, we're running late, and look, we love this festival. We think it's a great lineup. They have Dark Angel, they have Soulfly, they have Hatebreed and such. And we don't want these bands to having to cut short any of their set or being late. So we decided to cut off a couple songs from our set list. And I was like, wow, spot on, you know? There's a lot of bands who just don't do that, you know? They're gonna be like, no, I have been planned for this amount of minutes, I will play this, man. Like, you know that's true, right? Yeah. You know, that's what a lot of bands do. But I think it was very nice of them to actually do that. And then when they explained this to the audience, I think that made sense. They didn't cut off the full 25 minutes. I think they cut short 10 minutes or so, if I kind of felt like that. It's a shame. Midnight, I've seen a couple times before. They are super having this aggressive punk thrash, I don't know, vibe. I like it a lot. It's speed, it's everything. It's they have the black masks, and I mean, I've seen them now, I think 4 or 5 times or so. And yeah, I just like these guys. You would say that typically, because I don't know, they're not a stereotypical band that fits into my likings. But I don't know, there's something about their style, their personality, charisma that I like in their performance. They give full energy.
I think they... Yeah, I think that's... they have this sort of same speedy energeticness with them that Angelis Abedrida has as well. I think their sound is different, but there's still some sort of, I don't know, maybe it's like the energetic, I don't know. It's something energetic in them, in both of them, that I think they fit really well together.
Yeah.
They're very different, but still they also have something in common, I think.
Yes, that's for sure. But I feel sorry that they cut their sets short because somebody else didn't take responsibility for their own delay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It always sucks if you have sound issues, and people are very understanding about that. But yeah, I mean, Midnight also cut a little bit on the changeover, I think. Because they start, I watched the clock, how many minutes later we start, to keep a bit of track, also to know when the next band would start. So I kind of do that, and I think big kudos to them and their sportsmanship, so to say. I loved their set, and I hate that it was short. That's my short summarize of their existence.
So maybe if they come back in the Netherlands soon, we will be there together.
Yeah, maybe we will.
If they come.
I don't know. Usually I see them at festivals, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it would be fun to catch them.
Definitely. All right. After that came the band that was misspelled on the band on the festival merch. Sacred Reich. Was it spelled something? We missed a letter in there.
Yeah, they forgot the first R.
Yeah.
Sacred Reich.
Yeah. Seist Reich. That was kind of like the festival was posting pictures of the merch, the t-shirts with the front and the back on the social media as an sort of warm up for the festival. And I was looking at that and I was like, something is off. Then I clicked on the comment and like the first person said, wow, does do the t-shirts actually come with this typo, or do you have actually other ones?
A new badge. Yeah.
Gosh. Oops. Yeah, I think it's funny because, as you know, I also work in another job, and for us, it's if you make typos, you get kind of burned down. It's deadly, and mistakes happen all the time, of course, and you read over it. If you type it, you read over it, you don't see it, whatever. So that's why you try to have it reviewed by other people, so these things can get taken out. And I was wondering, did anyone check this? How many people missed this?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a sad mistake, but in the end, I saw a lot of people still buying the t-shirts, so I think it didn't hurt the sales.
Yeah, I saw a lot of shirts.
I don't think it hurt their sales too much, but for me, it was like, that's a reason for me not to buy the t-shirt, though. I don't want to wear it and then constantly having people like, your t-shirt is fake, blah, blah, blah. No, I didn't buy it at H&M. I bought it at the festival, actually. And then they come up to you and say, name 3 songs. It's I can name 3 songs. It's like, go to hell, fuck off, and die. Sort of like that. Good, Sacred Reich. Well, it was one of the performances.
So how did they play?
Yeah. Conforming. I mean, I've seen the band before. I didn't think they jumped out too much from what I used to from them. They were not bad, that's what I'm saying. It's just they didn't surprise me at all. I think at some point I was like, okay, it's now getting to rain. I just need to go and hide a little bit because, it's just conforming. It doesn't stand out to me. Time for me to take a break. Because that also needs to happen sometimes. So not too much to say about this. A little bit more in the review on the website, of course. But for that's it for our podcast, what I want to say. Up next, Soulfly. Oh, and everybody was so looking forward to see Soulfly. I mean, I was, because of our long time history that we already talked a couple times of before. But also a lot of people in the field were excited for Max to be back, and people were really waiting it. And I must say they played also conforming, so to say. They had energy. They played the songs you wanted to hear. Jump the fuck up. There was a lot of asking for jumping, and a lot of audience actually responded to that very well by doing so.
Nice. Was it something surprising? No, because Soulfly has been around for so long and we've seen the shows and you know what to expect and you know what to get. It felt like Max actually said at some point that he was really enjoying the lineup. He really loved it. And many bands were saying like, this is really an amazing lineup, and I agree. Yeah, it is.
I agree.
Because I read somewhere in the what the festival was sharing themselves. I think it was an interview with a local newspaper or something. They said, well, the thing is with Dutch festivals, they're small compared to all the other festivals in other countries. We've seen this weekend. I've seen like massive fields. In the Netherlands, we're a small country, but even in a small country, we have now, I think, 3 real metal festivals, and then there's like Jeraner. It's not
Bitfest,
it's a little bit
the crossovers.
Yeah. But I still think there's a lot of festivals for a small country, but they're all kind of small scale, cozy family. But somehow they're still playing huge bands.
True.
But they said they wanted to keep small and they don't have the ambition to become large and massive. They really
do want
like to stay.
I like that.
Like this, but then with a good lineup, you know. And I think they already succeeded with this lineup. I think, you know.
And I think it's really a pity that
Meshuggah and Inflamed and Hatebreed and
I think
Dark Angel and wow, yeah.
I think it's really a pity that not more people showed up. But I can imagine that people are a bit hesitating for a first edition of a festival. But
and the weather,
true.
You know, it was. But you know, the last year we've seen that the last years people wait with buying a ticket until the week before. So you know what the weather is going to do.
True.
I think we're made of sugar these days.
Yeah, we are.
In a way, we say in Dutch, if you have to cycle in the rain, we are not made of sugar, you know. But sometimes we are made of sugar.
Yeah, but I must, in relation to that, for Soulfly, I think it was a very conforming show. The band was constantly saying that they loved their lineup, and so I remember some other bands said like, "Oh, this is my childhood dream, this festival," and such. But still, it felt a bit like, especially with Soulfly, you did not get the same, I don't know, effort into it as you would have on like Wacken Open Air, for example. I don't know. It sounds. I don't even know if that's a thing for the bands themselves, but that's how it felt like to me. At least for Soulfly, not all bands, but for Soulfly, I felt a bit. You know,
like if we do say 70%, is it going to be good enough?
Sort of like that. It was a good show. What I did feel a bit of a pity is that I think some of the songs were cut short for some reason. They cut it off. I mean, of course I know the hits, but it doesn't mean that I listen to Soulfly non-stop. So can't say for 100% sure for all of the songs, but yeah. But it's cool. I loved seeing people go crazy for Soulfly. You saw a lot of people coming for them, and nice. I like that. Now, Dark Angel after that. I must say I've never really been a big fan of Dark Angel, to be honest.
Me neither.
I mean, I always joke a little bit, you have Death Angel and you have Dark Angel, and I like Death Angel. As if you have to choose or something.
Yep. You have to choose.
No, we don't. We can like both, but for some reason my preference is not with Dark Angel. But they surprised me well this day. They had a really good set. They went for it. They had the full energy for it. And the audience also responded quite well to it, I guess. I can say that they were positively surprising me. And what I also like to see in these kind of bands that have been around longer is that they have a bit of variety in their band. Yeah, so politically correct of me, isn't it? But it's true. It's a thing, and I think it was nice to see. What I like, I think they had this one song called what was it called? Merciless Death, that I really liked about them. They that really hyped up the energy there. It was and at the end they played one other song, Paris in Flames, that you really saw people enjoying a lot. So yeah, good chats. I guess for a lot of people that this was nice to see, that the fans enjoyed it. But yeah, a positive surprise for me. Now Channel Zero after that, our Belgian friends. yeah, amongst the press, everybody was like, "Oh, we can see them like 700 times if we want to." Like, and I was thinking, well, actually, it's been ages ago since I've seen them. I think they used to play a lot more in the Netherlands when they were starting out than they are now. And a lot of the press there was from Belgium or south of the Netherlands.
Yes. Yeah, and they're gonna do a sort of end of the they're gonna do a farewell tour next year with a lot of dates.
Yeah, true.
In Belgium.
Yeah, I think this was the last Dutch show, even if I remember.
I think as well. So
yeah, that's a pity. But I was thinking that I
think we saw them at. Was it still called City Rock back then?
Possible, but I think I thought Porter Rock actually.
Oh. Fortarok.
Yeah. But it's always funny because I also know a Finnish band called Channel Zero, and sometimes I keep confusing them in my head, which band I saw where. So yeah, no, but good. I think I liked their set. I like most of the bands here. There was not really one band I didn't like. Okay, maybe Legion of the Damned, but that has only to do with their attitude and not so much the music.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
So yeah, Channel Zero. I don't know what else to say at this point. Yeah, it was sad to see it was their last show, and I loved that about all these people from the press saying, "Oh, I've seen them like all the time, and we can see them anywhere." And I was thinking like, "Oh, for me, it's quite a long time that I've seen them in the Netherlands."
Yeah. So, it's kind of funny. Yeah,
and I think also I've mainly seen them on smaller stages, so to see them like this late on the day on the big stage was really nice. So for me, this is good because now I remember them from this show. That's good.
Yeah, well, I think what I like about them is well, I haven't seen the show, of course, but what I remember and what I've seen online is that they seem to do, well, a lot of bands do, but they seem to do it with a lot of passion and fun with themselves, and they seem to really enjoy themselves on the stage, you know? It's like a sort of a party for them to be on that stage. And I think maybe that's a little bit of charm what Channel Zero brings to the table.
Yeah, indeed.
Or brought to the table.
All right, I have to speed it up because we already are a long talk. Hatebreed up next. I haven't seen them for quite a while. They were talking a lot about some of the other bands that are kind of like them. And, I think what I like that they always have this energy, and I was kind of looking forward to that too. I talk a lot about energy, but Hatebreed is kind of what the name says. That's what you kind of expect, and that's what you get, right?
I don't know. When I see the name Hatebreed, I think a lot of power and flames.
The metalcore they do is kind of for me. I always see Hatebreed's t-shirts everywhere. So, but I don't know. For me, it's not per se the band for the genre, but it's one of those bands that are setting the road free for many young bands, I think, and I like that they do that. And what I liked also about the show, they have these huge big balls because they were talking about the Wall of Death. And how that's where that originates from, and that they wanted to do something else, and they brought these huge inflatable balls, and they are called the Balls of Death. And they were like going over the audience, but the funny thing is there were floaties and beach balls flying over the festival crowd all day. Like we do that at Dutch festivals here a lot. Especially on the Sunday, because on Sunday we have Good Deluxe. So then, of course, that's even more. And when you have one of those theater bands, you usually also see that a lot of people bring floaties. But today also, and now they were just there with these giant balls, and they were like, "Yo, have fun with that!" And I laugh about it now because I was also on the second there was one band who commented on the fact that there were beach balls flying around, and he hated them. So he was like, "Oh, what the hell is with these balls? I don't want to see them," or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I was a bit further away from the States at that point. But I laughed because I remember the day before, Hatebreed was bringing out these big balls of death and throwing them over the audience, where people were just bouncing back with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In any case, they brought a big smile on my face during this day. Last band for the outdoor on the Saturday was Alcest. I haven't seen Alcest also for quite a bit, so it was nice to have them back. Yeah, I have not seen the full set because I wanted to put some stuff away before I went to the venue, where some more bands would be playing. So I've seen the first couple songs, very colorful. Dedicated fans obviously for them. What I've seen was very conforming. It was very nice, very okay, but I heard from people who stayed around later that the sound wasn't too great, so that's a pity. But I think from what I've seen, the most people enjoyed it anyway. So, yeah. But logistically, I couldn't stay around after like 4 or 5 songs. I was like, I need to head out and get myself organized before Wolf Brigade is starting the after parties, as I should say it, which is actually just a continuous continuous party going on in the venue. Wolf Brigade is one of those bands that I don't remember when I saw them last, but I kind of wanted to see them again, and we've have a kind of lot of talk in the media about wolves, so Wolf Brigade, that brought a bit of a smile on my face, and then the venue was quite full when the bands were playing. In the beginning, it was not, because people still needed to walk from the festival towards the venue. So in the beginning, it was like very empty, actually. But I was there from the beginning, and I took a little bit of distance from the stage, taking some pictures in the very dark red environment. They're very aggressive, kind of speed, crust punk kind of sounds. I don't know. It was fun, and then the mosh pit started. But since the venue wasn't completely full, there was quite a lot of space, and there were quite a lot of drunk people who thought that the mosh pit was some kind of rugby match or something.
Fields?
They were like taking a run from in the back or from the sides, and then they fully like body slammed people on the floor, on the walls, on the stage and everything. I was like, well, people, this is far beyond having a mosh pit. This is drunk people going crazy.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, I don't know about this. I liked the music, but you're constantly like, I need to get away from this a little bit because it doesn't feel very safe. I must say they try to sort of run around other people. They were try not to involve innocent bystanders by it, but I don't know. I guess if these things happen, I liked it that when a big mosh pit starts, it can be rough. That's all fine, but it felt like the sense was out of it at that point. So I took a little bit of distance from that. And I think after that, there was one more band that I saw a little bit of, and that was Mass Deception. And from Mass Deception, well, I saw first couple songs. They do old school thrash. They're Dutch. I think a lot of people know them from back in the days or so. And I left after a couple songs because I know that the next day I had to start early again because of the change over to one stage. They had to start early and end at the next day also at 2 o'clock or so, after 2 o'clock. And I was like, okay. And after that, I still need to drive home, so maybe I'll cut it short on the Saturday. Also because I was like, do I really want to stay around these drunk people for that long? I chose for myself and my sleep and my safety and decided to leave. The next day I heard that's for the last band, which was apparently good, very good. As we spoke already up before, we know Inherited from other shows. Yeah. They usually get things going, but there were like only 30 people around still for them. Yeah, makes sense if you start a quarter for 2
sense, huh?
In the night. It's just some people need to are otherwise unable to go to their accommodations because no public transport. No, I think that was a bit too much for that. But I was full of energy the next day because I had a good sleep because of that. And could start the day with Tenside. Now, Tenside I loved quite a bit. Even though at their logo on the stage I was constantly reading Teesside because I'm a teaholic. And I was standing in the rain and I was thinking like, gosh, I could use a cup of tea.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I see you like bent on the stage, you in front of in front of the barrier, like a couple of meter back with your cup of tea, with your tea bag mic, like checking out the stage, like good, well, sorry.
The funny thing is, I had to leave my hotel around 11 and this first band played at 12:15. But when I arrived in the parking lot, it was raining pretty badly, so I stayed in my car for a little bit. Then, like at 11:45, it was dry. So I was thinking, I know there's like a coffee shop, a cafe nearby, a cafe, yes.
Yeah.
And I figured like I might go and get a cup of tea there. So I went with a cup of tea, which took them like half an hour to make. And then I walked back to the festival with my tea, arrived in the press area, put out my cameras, drank the last bit of tea, and then went into the photo pit for Tenside because they were starting. And I was reading Teesside, and I was thinking, I just had my tea, I finished my tea, and I read Teesside, and I want more tea. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is what festivaling does with you if you get a lack of sleep. Okay, to be fair, the festival opened this time at 11 o'clock, so a lot of people had more time, or 11:30, I'm not sure even. A lot of people had more time to get in. They didn't, but it was possible now. The Tenside even commented on like, hey, nice, you people showed up early for us. The couple of people that were, sorry we didn't bring better weather because at that point it started to rain again. Sorry, but they were still making a good party. Yeah. I did hide also in the tent after that because I was like, I need to still the whole day. I don't want to be soaked on the first band if I don't have to. But next, the band that definitely had people talking, it's Goetalax. And if you haven't seen this, I don't know, can I say shitty band? Before, you might be in for a surprise. And I say shitty band not because of the playing, but because that's their team. They're themed around poop and toilet and that sort of shit. The core that they make, it involves about that gag of them in their white suits and Dixies and a big giant turd on the backdrop right above the drummer. The audience brings a lot of floaties, toilet brushes, and toilet rolls to throw in the air. So since it was already raining, it was muddy. People were doing circle pits with toilet brushes in their hands. They also brought the same kind of suits as the band is wearing. And it's just a party band, but better.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well,
they're from Czech Republic. And, well, I've seen them a couple times before, and they're definitely entertainment. But it feels for you, if you're taking pictures, you're a bit like, there's no point in taking pictures of the band because the actual show is in the audience. That's it.
And I don't know about the singing. It just sounds like a pig to me.
I posted a video on my private Instagram because I promised some people that I would take a video of it, so I could explain it to my colleagues what this is, what kind of weird band is this. And somebody commented on that, oh, frog metal, and I was thinking, yes, babe, you got it. That's even better.
Maybe it's even better than frog metal. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, there was one woman in the audience, and I think it's completely unrelated to Goodalox, but she had a Kermit's kind of green bucket hat with the eyes on it.
Oh.
As a frog. And I was thinking like, seeing that comment and seeing her through the whole day, would she know? Did she do this on purpose, or was this just an happy accident? Yeah. All right. Okay, textures next. Oh, and do we love textures? I've missed them seeing around. They quit for a couple of years ago, I think 2017, if I remember correctly. And now they're back.
Yeah.
I like they have this technical, extreme kind of sounds that I really enjoy watching. And that was definitely a band that was one of the best that I saw on the day. I think with them you can kind of expect a good show. And a lot of fans from abroad came specifically to see textures. And that brought a sort of atmosphere in that area. I liked it. They're not, I don't know, as in a performance they're maybe not the wildest, because it's very much focused on the music. And they did that so well. And what else can I say about them? Oh yeah, I remember one.
I remember seeing them with you in Helsinki.
True.
I think there was an after party.
Yeah, possible. I think I also saw the farewell show at, was it Dynamo? I think some years ago. I think 2017 or 18 or so. That. Also, one thing to say, their vocalist Danielle was one of the bands that played later, one of the guys that played later on in the Savage Lands performance, but more about that later. Textures really was one of my favorites of the day, maybe from the whole festival.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Wow. Yeah.
Then Decapitated, well. Yeah, Decapitated never disappoints me. They always play a good show. Did they surprise me? No, but that's because I've seen them shitloads of time.
So how is the band with the newest singer?
I think pretty good. Yeah. I think I wouldn't say I have a favorite over the two, so to say. But the flow was in there.
Nice.
Yeah. I kind of liked that what they were doing. And I think the audience enjoyed it big time. I saw a lot of movement going on. Of course, Goodalox so kind of energized already everyone. So moshing was going on. And people were definitely have a good time with them.
So nice.
Speaking about surprises, I think Silosis, they're French, I think. They kind of...
I don't know.
They kind of surprised me. I've seen them before, but I always they're there, that they do their thing, but it didn't jump out to me. I think I don't know. It's just today there was something I was like, okay, yeah. Now I get it. I seem to get it more. I think they played a couple of older songs that I recognized in a way. But I also heard a lot of the new songs seem to have a slightly bit of different structure, and yet it was very much a set that was in one line. That it seemed to match really well, and that's what I really liked about them. They are definitely more on my radar after this set. So that's what I wanted to say about them. Now, Carcass, oh my gosh, Carcass! I've seen a shitloads of time. I think you too. You probably have seen them also. Like, yeah. You can't even count.
I have seen this band. Yeah. Don't worry.
No, but like countless of times. Like I cannot even count how many times I've seen Carcass. And
well, actually, it's been years.
Yeah, probably, but still.
But
they've been around for so long. Since we were there, they were already doing it for 20 years or so. Like they've always been this big. And
I saw them. I saw them last year, standing next to me, but I didn't saw them play because I had to leave the festival to catch the bus back. But
I know. I like. Well, I have this anecdote about them that I once saw them in, was it Stonehenge? And there was downpouring there. Like, it was extreme rain at that point. And there was only one band, I think Godflesh was after them. And usually a lot of people leave for the last band in that festival. Because the last band is usually a bit more industrial kind of sound. So... there was almost nobody at that point who dared to stay out in the rain. And I was like, I have a poncho. I don't care. My camera has a poncho. I go and take the pictures. Where also almost everybody left. Even our friends who are around longest preferred to stay in the backstage. Which meant that my pictures got published like at 4, 5, 6 different places. Because everyone came to ask for it.
But
and I remember I was just like, yes, baby. And these guys from Carcass were just like, whoa, oh my god, there's like a handful of people standing. I don't give a shit. We just give it our all, and they were like going for it. So that's what I.
But they're
why they always bring.
They're amazing.
They always bring a smile to my face because I'm thinking of their attitude. You know, they're like, whatever. It rains. I understand all you people go find shelter, but we just keep going and we just go for it. And yeah, I must say, I was like, okay. I remember him always, the vocalist Jeff, always with the long hair. And then I was looking at him, and he comes up with this new haircut. I was like, oh, I think I've seen you with the shorter hair before, but still, I'm like, your picture with the long hair is so much in my mind. That I'm also surprised about that. And I did manage to speak with Jeff very briefly after the festival because they had their bus parked. Nice. They had their bus parked somewhere on the road where I had to go to the venue. And I think I mentioned something like, hey, I saw him and I was like, I wanted to say something about the show, but I was like, guys, I really like your new haircut.
Yes, nice. I would say something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It could be something for you to do something like that, indeed. But his response baffled me. Because he's like saying to me like, I like yours too, but you used to have black hair. And I was like, what?
Oh my god! Whoa!
I'm recognized by Jeff Walker. What?
Oh my freaking god!
I was like, whoa, okay. What?
Wow.
So yeah, that was like
on another level.
Another level for me, like, yo.
I mean, I remember being in Helsinki and Mikko from the drummer from Apocalyptica. I think 2 years later, we were in the same bar, and he was like, you're not from here. What are you doing here? You're not from here. It's like, oh my God, you know, it was already, that was already like, oh my God, but this.
Yeah, but for me, I mean, usually if I've interviewed bands, then people remember you, but I've never interviewed him so I never really spoke too much with Jeff before. Like, I can't remember I had an actual conversation with him, but I just walked by him and I just blurted out something and then I got this response. I was like, dude, what? So, yeah.
But
okay, back.
It was a comment I would make actually. People would go up to him, like ask autographs and ask, and I would say, "Oh, I like your haircut."
That was definitely going through my head later on. I was like, "This is such an Elvira thing to do." All right, but let's go.
Sorry, my brain works in mysterious ways.
But okay, I was talking. I was talking a little bit about their performance, which was awesome. And also Carcass.
Yeah, impeccable, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And Carcass also mentioned that they really loved the lineup. And they had a good time there. I think they had to go away pretty fast after that. Because they had to go, of course, all the way to Germany, I think. For some show. Yeah. I like their sets. Carcass never disappoints. I love their huge backdrop. When I saw that backdrop, I had to think of another story about Stonehenge even longer ago, and then me getting into a fight with a random fan at Into the Grave who tried to get backstage because he said, I know where your stolen backdrop is. I need to talk to Jeff Walker to say where the stolen...
I remember that.
Yeah, and I was so sick and tired of that guy trying to walk all over the press and try to get backstage and whatever. And I was just like asking...
But that was a thing with that stolen backdrop.
Yeah, and that guy came up to the security of Into the Grave because Carcass was playing there like a year later or something. Like as if they didn't replace it by then. Yeah, so he was like bothering security and security was ignoring him at first and then they start to listen to him and try to make a move to actually arrange something. And I was just like, what the fuck? This guy is bothering everyone. He's obviously drunk and you guys are actually going to accommodate him? What the hell? So I said like, are you seriously? No, you say you know something about this stolen backdrop. Why didn't you inform the police, you know? And then he got angry and called me a groupie and whatever. And I was just thinking like, dude, you're just fucking jealous that I have press privileges and you can't even manage to convince a security guard or something. Like you're just drunk and try to get backstage. Who's the groupie here now, huh? Because why can't you not tell that to a tour manager or anyone or the police if you know something about a criminal offense of stealing a backdrop? Why do you wait a year until the band comes and you only want to tell the singer? Really? Why? Yeah. Okay. I think that's Carcass. I so many anecdotes, but... in any case, the show was great. I keep rambling. But then, okay, the band that got like the most energy and craziness going on, even more than the next band after them. It's called In Flames. And yeah, everyone was so eager to see them. The melodic death they made.
Me too.
The melodic death is crazy. Their name is out there. They were energetic and I was also looking forward to see them. I've seen them like 600 times or something by now. Always on festivals.
But you still need them in your life.
Yeah. And I was actually singing along to some of their songs because I was there on my own anyway at that point. It's like whatever. And then I decided to show a little bit to you, so you could be there.
Yes, thank you so much.
The phone connection wasn't really favorable, but I think that happened also before when I tried to like call you to show you a little bit. So I guess that's just not a thing. Yeah. Good to know. Good to remember. Next time I'll just keep sending videos. But yeah, of course they played amazing. I went crazy for the entire set. I went on the field and joined the rest of the audience in celebrating In Flames. I think they played like all the crazy songs like Deliver Us, Voices, Meet Your Maker, Above. I think they ended also with Take This Life. And but in between,
I heard that.
Yeah, in between, I think the band was talking a lot with the audience, and I kind of felt that they were really like enjoying being at this festival. You know, when we previously said about Soulfly that they were giving like 70%, and still play a good show, by the way. But you know, In Flames gave 100. Definitely. They were just there doing their thing and giving it them all.
I was talking with another photographer, and In Flames, if you go see them, it's always pitch dark.
Yeah, not always.
So, but I think, well, not dark, but you know, I think also from being a band on the stage, you don't really see the audience.
I don't know, because
in that surrounding, and maybe now they're on the field, and they were playing like not broad daylight, but like late daylight.
Yeah.
And I think, you know,
it's almost midsummer,
so
kinda, they still had a lot of light when they played there.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's like cozy and small and light, and I don't know. Maybe that made them chatty and you know.
Yeah. And in case Anders was talking a lot about whatever in the audience, he spoke a little bit about the festival, how much he enjoyed even the lineup. Like I said, many bands have been talking about that before, but he also mentioned that he really liked to see Meshuggah that played after it. He talks a bit about the field out there, whatever. And I recorded a little bit of what his talks were with the audience, so I would like for you people to have a little bit of a listen to that.
And I want to be really serious for a second. I had a serious talk with the security people before the show, and it's not funny. This is a serious talk. They said if we don't have like 1,000 people crowd surfing tonight, this is just it's a big loss. And it's very embarrassing, they said. So, put your fucking friend in the sky and let's have a party, people.
Yeah, and so that was that. I think I had another clip of him talking about. That was, I think, the clip that I want to show people now is when they announced their last song or so, and when. And this was also kind of checking in with the audience, how everyone was doing, if everyone was okay, and how a bit about the world, as crazy as it is right now. Yeah. And I thought that was a nice ad, because some bands have been mentioning it briefly on the site also. But I also like that we don't get a full political lecture from a band in between the songs, because I'm always like, yeah, just play your song. Talk a little bit, but don't make it too long. And yeah, for him to do it this way, I felt like that's just really nice. It suited well. Have a go, people. Have a listen.
It's the greatest view with the cars coming by, but yeah, seeing people crowd surf without music make up for everything. Remember to be nice. Remember to be kind. Remember to show love and show respect. This world is fucking crazy right now, and we need more understanding, all right? Have a good night. Enjoy Meshuggah. I know I will. See you next time.
All right. Now, that was famous last words, almost. Let's hope.
No, please
Let's
not.
hope not. But for the show, it was. One of the shows where the audience went completely wild. Everyone was jumping, and I think they were definitely the headliner, even though Meshuggah was also having crazy amount of people going for them. But it's just different energy with these bands. So that's onto Meshuggah. Well, I mean, they stand out with their extreme and their technical sound, of course. And to look at, I think the performance is a bit static, not per se the most crazy, but they have an enormous show. And that's what I like. I like that the lights that they have were definitely something I haven't seen before. And the funny thing is, they were supposed to start at 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, the sun was going down a little bit. And everybody was like, gosh, I still want a little bit of light because that's easier to photograph. But it seemed like they were waiting for the sun to go below the horizon. Because there was like really like... you could see it getting darker by the minute, you know, and everybody was just looking a bit behind, like, oh gosh, the light's gone, and I'm thinking, like, well, it's Meshuggah, they probably have something crazy going on, and we'll just see what happens. It's not gonna be pitch black right away anyway, so I wasn't too worried about it. And then they come with this enormous light show, a lot of flashing, so it was quite hard to take pictures. Sure, it's not given to us easily, but gosh, from an audience point of view, they had lasers, they had lots of things going on. I kind of like that. Well done. Also here, I didn't see the full set because I had to go to the venue and also make arrangements for my stuff. Because as press, you obviously carry around with a lot more things than a visitor does. But it was funny, you walk outside of the festival area, and then I realized that, I don't know, the sound from outside the festival area wasn't as loud as, for example, other venues have. I think because also they are a bit in the location is a bit lower, and there's, I don't know, it seemed to help with the sound a lot. Even when I was at the parking lot, which was like less than 5 minutes away, I could only hear it a little bit in the background, and I was like, whoa, I'm that close to the festival area. I can literally see the main stage, and that's not too loud. And I was thinking, okay, that serves a lot of perspective for the festival to grow even and have that second stage, because I don't think a lot of people can complain about this whatsoever. So, and that even for Meshuggah, which is known to just play it and play it loud. I mean, when I was standing in front of the photo pit, it felt like I had a little bit more decibels coming towards me than the previous band had. So that's just something that I had to mention in that sense. And before I go on to the last bands that I saw in the indoor stage, I need to do one important thing, and that's giving a shout out. And that shout out is for Bert from Houten, because he came up to talk to me and asked me, "Are you Sabine from the podcast?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." So Bert, thank you for coming up to talk to me. We only spoke very briefly, but it's much appreciated. I hope next time you catch us that you can also catch Elvira, and we have a bit of a longer chat. But it was cool for you to meet us out there, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being a subscriber. I think you said you listen to about 10 to 15 podcasts by now, so I hope you're listening to this one also, because big shout out to you.
So cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And to any other of our listeners, we will be in Into the Grave together. So if you see me or Elvira running around, feel free to say hi. We love that.
But they don't know how we look like.
They know how I look like, apparently. Maybe because I'm also doing all these YouTube interviews, so I'm very recognizable.
But I'm a secret.
Yeah, you're very much a secret. But I can give you a little bit of a hint. A lot of people think she's looking like the Epica singer Simone. So
no, I don't.
No, you don't. But I've heard people say that multiple times.
Absolutely not.
I've heard people say that multiple times. But
yeah, like 15 years ago, we had the same color hair, and that's like...
Yeah, I don't agree with it either, but... In any case, if you see a slight resemblance, and you see her running around with cameras, then you can ask if that's Elvira.
Well, in that case, it might be a reference to recognize me in the photo pit, of course.
And I also said we need to do a photo shoot with someone so we can have a better picture for our podcast, so... Yep, people then can recognize us. And buy us beer.
Oh.
Or coffee. Or tea.
Lots of coffee.
And tea. That.
And tea. Coffee and tea.
Yeah. Or just come up and say hi. Give us a high five or whatever.
Yes. Awesome. Cool.
Alright, last couple of bands to talk about is Savage Land.
So maybe next year... Yeah, sorry.
Savage Land.
We can make like...
a
photo with all our listeners.
Yeah, meet and greet. I like that.
Sorry.
Savage... Come on, let's move on. Savage Lands. We talked already a bit about them in our previous episodes, I think, where we spoke briefly about Savage Lands. And their attempt to save nature by saving trees, planting trees. And for example, in Costa Rica, where I have been myself, I've seen another project in Costa Rica, Bahia del Tigre, from... that has been bought by the money from children who are supporting the WWF organization.
Mm. Yeah,
and I've went there. I went to walk in the area that they opened up for visitors to gather money for the rest of the area, basically. And I've been amazed with that. It's that moment you walk in there and you think, like, for me, seeing a bit of rainforest was a big wish to see, and I went there to see it. I mean, I could go to other places as well, but this one was not commercial. It was purely made for rescuing trees and animals and such. And I went there, and yeah, it's very inspiring to see organizations doing things like that. And Savage Land is kind of doing something like that as well. They play shows, release music to raise money, and do whatever it can what they can do to raise money by the metalheads. And with that money, they buy land and plant trees and protect the area, basically. I think that's the short version of what they are doing. Yeah. I think both of us met on Friday with the organization. Have a very brief chat. I saw them on Sunday very briefly and said hi because I was sending pictures from the merch and they recognized me. So yeah, and then I went to see their show. Okay, I'm gonna be honest because I really love their cause, but their show was if you expect a full-on band that plays a good set, then you're wrong. This is a band. I mean, they have a solid band, but they have a lot of guests that they bring in depending on where they are, and I can sense that rehearsing with random people is not always a big thing. And that makes the whole thing a bit messy sometimes.
Yeah.
I had to remember... I was thinking back to the days of Thrash Fest in Helsinki. And then I mean not the genre thrash, but the glitter and glam thrash thing that was going on there. They always had kind of like an all-star band where all musicians from the random bands that were playing were joining on the stage together and play a couple of cover songs. And in the last song, like, everybody just came on the stage. And that's what was Savage Land reminding me of in the way they were doing it. It was nice to see. Like I said, Daniel was there. Some woman, I think her name was Chloe or something. I don't know her. I mean, I'm not really too much into the female vocals, so whatever.
You're not?
No. You never noticed, huh?
No.
In any case, they have a lot of people along, and yeah. Like I said, it from a music point of view, this is not the best live band because of the way they organize themselves with all the guests. And yeah, very understandable, but it was nice to see, and it's fun that you can see everyone is having fun to play there. They had also, I think, was it the guitarist of I Am Morbid was also there.
I Am Morbid? Yeah.
In any case, I like that everybody just jumps in and do their thing, and you can see the musicians really just enjoy playing together, just like a bit of a jam that you're watching live. So that was nice.
Yeah, I think you have to see it like that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And in any case, if you feel like supporting them, they have an album out, they have t-shirts, they have a whole lot of things that you can donate money also to their cause.
Last year, I think what you described reminds me of last year we had a Dynamo Metal Fest. We had like the Intertraditional, and there was all these musicians from trash bands and the Bay Area, but they were playing like each other's songs, or the known songs from the genre, but they've practiced for hours and hours the day before at the festival, and still it sounded like chaos on stage to me. But it was also a big party, and it was also, the thing is, it was not meant to be the best show ever. It's meant to be, it's the cause.
I think what would benefit Savage Land is to have one big hit from themselves. Yeah. And they don't have that yet. Like, they have a basic band that make their music, make the album, basically. But
a few songs. Yeah. So you know a little bit, you have something to hold on.
Yeah, I think they need one big song that becomes, like, really... something that people recognized from
for the cause.
The song that people want to hear if you go to set that he cannot not play, And if they have that, I think that would
help
strengthen their set a lot. But it was nice to see, and I think of course we really support the cause. Maybe at some point we can meet up with these guys and talk to them a little bit further and in depth in an interview or something. But for now, we obviously didn't have time to do that. We'll see. And then I guess it's time for me to talk about I Am Morbid. And I think you asked me somewhere during the day, like, oh, did you have the favorites? And then I think I mentioned, of course, In Flames and Textures, of course. Meshuggah definitely did a good job also. But also I Am Morbid. And I've seen I Am Morbid several times before. So I also know where exactly I needed to go and stand for the best pictures. Because, I mean, a lot of photographers were still there to take a couple of pictures from I Am Morbid. And I was like, I've seen this band so many times. And I know there's one person who knows exactly how the light falls onto him. He knows exactly where to stand and play. And he's a bit of the same, like he's guitar glamour. He could have been in the Trash Fest, but I previously described. So I went to stand in front of him and stayed there for the whole set because there was absolutely no way that I could leave there. But that's okay because I Am Morbid was killing it. The audience went crazy for it. They had to take a step back a couple times because people were crowd surfing and getting onto the stage. The first time that happened, you saw the singer being like, and he really grabbed the microphone and stepped back. But of course, we're in the Netherlands. People are not crazy. And I think from them, where they are from, it could be that they have different experience from that. Also, they've seen what happened with Pantera, for example. I can imagine they were very scared of that. But it was all very gentle and the guy got off quite fast. But a couple more times. I even at some point had one almost in my neck. And I was like pushing him back, like, no, you don't get on the stage. Because they obviously are not really liking that too much. Stay in the audience, do your crowd surfing at the festival field, but not here indoors. The band doesn't appreciate that very much. They appreciate you moshing and going crazy. They love that, but stay in the audience. Don't get on the stage. No. Yeah. It also meant that I was kind of stuck where I was simply sad. No way that I could be moving from that place. It was okay. I had fun. I watched it. I listened to these songs. They played this 30th anniversary of Domination set. And yeah, I think the guys were like, oh, you guys were... how many of you were born when this album came out? How many of you were still very tiny when this album came out? I'm old! Yep. But
yep.
It's nice to hear these songs back. They really played a great set. They killed it. It was one of those after-party shows that you remember for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I think that this is the kind of after-party shows you need to have.
Yeah.
The ones...
Legendary.
The legendary ones. Like, we know many of these legendary ones from Tuska, and this I Am Morbid show was definitely one of them that I remember for
it sounds like
a long time. So, kudos to them. It was great. We had fun. They were not the last band, though. There was one band after them called From the Crypt. And From the Crypt, they're slow, doomish, I kind of like it, but it was also the cause of, I think, 45, maybe 60% of the audience left straight away after I Am Morbid. Was like, yep, it's too late. This is completely different genre. Bye. And I was just standing there thinking, I take a couple pictures and I'm heading off too, because I need to drive 2 more hours at least to get home. Left straight after the first couple songs. Sorry, guys. It sounded nice from what I heard, but next time please play a little bit earlier then. That was my full experience of being in South of Heaven. That was the last of it. So the festival's over. I had to drive home. Came back from 4 o'clock. Slept like 5.5 hours or so and started editing. And now it's almost 10 o'clock in the evening when I'm recording this podcast with Elvira.
And I went to Viking Fest today, so...
Yeah.
No music, though.
No music, but tomorrow our new workday starts. And,
work, yes.
Yeah, and...
I have a busy day.
I need to go to bed and catch up some sleep.
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Yeah.
We will meet on Friday. And what are we going to do?
Into the grave!
Another festival!
Yes, because one is not enough. We need more. But I'm still recovering from this one because South of Heaven, like, for a very first edition, they did very well.
It was, yeah.
And one big shout out.
Like I already said, I would like to go next year. If it's possible, I would love.
I hope so because I want.
It had a nice vibe on Friday.
Yeah, so. Definitely, and I want to give a big shout out to the organization for taking good care of us. They gave the press some nice area to sit down. We've been able to catch up with some Limburgse fly.
Always good.
Some buns, some foods and drinks in the end. And that's felt so nice. A little bit of appreciation and hospitality from their side.
Yeah, for the work we do, you know.
Yeah, that's really nice. And we loved it. They made our job a lot of easier. And I think that next year a lot of more people will know about this festival. And I'm sure they're gonna have one killer lineup once again. So I know at this festival, as at this moment, only
it has a lot of potential.
It has a lot of potential. Yeah. Next year, the dates are announced. I think it's 5 and 6 of June. And I only hope that the other festival decides to be at not the same week, because then I obviously don't know what I have to choose. And I might break with my traditions even if the lineup decides that I have to. It is what it is. So they better not do it at the same weekend, and I think they probably won't because.
But it's not
because it's not smart to do that anyway. But yeah, if you have a chance, I know at this point no bands are announced yet. Maybe soon. I wouldn't be surprised to have them see a couple names coming in soon.
Yeah. They must have been booked already, so.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that at this point, if you're smart, you might want to buy tickets fast.
Yeah.
Because this festival knows where the good lineup is. They know how to build a good party. Everybody who has been there comes back with a good vibes, good memories.
Yeah.
So this festival is it might be selling out next year if the word of mouth goes around. So don't wait too long with buying your ticket if you're interested in the south of the Netherlands. So if you're German or Belgium, this is easy for you to get to. Obviously, it would be nice if the trains are not striking, but let's just say that doesn't happen every day. It does happen again tomorrow, though, but that's not my problem. I have a car. However, I would recommend people buy a ticket for this one because this one is gonna be interesting. So yeah, I think that concludes our
the only thing
experience.
2 stages.
Yeah.
2 stages, not that late in the evening, but a good after party.
Keep 1 of 2 bands for the after party and then we're happy.
Done. Yeah.
Oh my god. We talked for 1 hour and 74 minutes or 74. What am I saying? 47 minutes.
Yeah. We need sleep.
I need sleep. I'm tired. I need time to edit a shitload of pictures because I have done only 4 bands or so. And now I need to go sleep and prepare for some more work.
Yes.
And I only...
Well, you know what? See you on Friday. And audience, listeners, people of the internet, see you here, whatever. Come say hi if you see us at a festival. Into the Grave. We'll be there. And one last thing.
Yeah.